Alright, so today we're going to learn about the Pythagorean theorem again, but this time I'm just going to go over a couple of your homework problems that you're going to have after this video, and I'm just going to do probably about 3 of them, because you only have about maybe 8, maybe 10 of them to do, and they're with decimals, so you may use a calculator if you so choose, so it'll make it a little bit easier on you. So I'm just going to go through a few of these, and then that'll be that. So on your homework assignment, I'm gonna do number 15 here. And number 15 says that we have a triangle, a right triangle, that looks like this. We have 7.4 right here and 3.6 right here. And we're trying to find this missing side right here. I'm going to call it B, because we know that in our Pythagorean theorem, we have a formula that's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is the hypotenuse, and c is always opposite the 90-degree angle. So 7.4 is c. So what do we know about our triangle? Well, we know what a is. A is 3.6. We do not know what b is. And we know what c is. C is 7.4. So plug those numbers in and then solve for b. So a is 3.6, and it's squared, plus b squared equals c squared. Well, c is 7.4, so replace c with 7.4. Square it. Okay. Now this is the part where you're definitely going to need a calculator, or if you so choose to do it by hand, you can. So if you type in 3.6 times 3.6 inside your calculator, which is exactly 3.6 squared, you get 12.96. Then plus your b squared comes down, equals, and then you have to do 7.4 squared. Well, 7.4 squared in the calculator is 54.76. 54.76. Now, we have to get b squared all by itself. So in order to do that, we need to subtract 12.96 from both sides. And when you subtract 12.96 from both sides, you get 41.8. Your b squared comes down. Now to undo a square, you have to take the square root of both sides. So b is equal to the square root of 41.8. Now I'm okay with you leaving your answer like that. Now if you have a calculator that can do the square root of 41.8, that's fine. Okay, so you can leave your answer like that, but if you have a calculator, the answer should be approximately 6.47. Okay? But I'm okay with you leaving it right here. I'm cool with that. I'd actually prefer that. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Let's do number 16. It says we have another right triangle. Because remember, the Pythagorean theorem only works with the right triangle. Okay, it gives us this side length right here of 3.9. And it also gives us this length here, which is 11. So what did they give us? What letters? We know that this one is either A or B. Okay, it doesn't really matter. And what about this 11 over here? It's opposite the 90-degree angle, so that makes it letter C. All right, so what do we know? We know that A is 3.9. We do not know what B is, and we know that C is 11. Okay, so use our formula. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We know that A is 3.9. So 3.9 squared plus b squared equals c squared. What's c? C is 11. 11 squared. Now the reason why I put parentheses around the 3.9 is because it's a decimal. Okay, if it's not a decimal, there's no need for parentheses. Okay, so if you do 3.9 times 3.9 in your calculator, you're going to get 15.21. And you bring down your plus b squared, and it equals 11 squared. Well, 11 squared is 121. Now, just like the other problem, you have to get b squared by itself before you can take the square root. So you have to subtract 15.21 from both sides. Okay, that cancels that out. And if you subtract 15.21 from 121, you're going to get 105.79. And your b squared comes down. And to undo a square, you have to take the square root. So b is equal to the square root of 105.79. Okay, or if you take the square root of that, which some of you may have a calculator that can do that, you should get something close to 10.29 if you round up. Okay? All right, let's do one more. Let's skip a few and go down to number 19. Okay, number 19 says we have another right triangle. And it gives us the length of 5.2 and 9.2. Okay. Remember, what letter is opposite the 90-degree angle? It's always letter C, the hypotenuse. Okay. So that tells me that what two letters did it give me in my formula? It gave me A and B. I need to find C. So use our formula of A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And what do we know? Let's go over it one more time. A is 5.2, B is 9.2, and C we do not know. So plug in the information that you do know under your formula and solve. So A, 5.2 squared, plus B, which is 9.2 squared, equals C squared. Now if you do 5.2 squared in your calculator, or if you want to do it by hand, 5.2 times 5.2, you should get 27.04 plus, and if you do 9.2 squared, you should get 84.64. That equals C squared. Okay. Now this one's actually a little bit different than the previous two. This one, we have 27.04 plus 84.64. Those are on the same side of the equation, okay? They're on the same side of the equal sign. So I just do exactly what it says. I add them together. So I'm going to add them together, and you should get, 111.68. And that's going to equal C squared. Now what's your last step? How do you undo a square? Well, you take the square root. So you get C is equal to the square root of 111.68. Okay. Now, if you were to take that into your calculator, if you had a fancy one, and you actually did the square root of that, you should get something relatively close to 10.57. Okay. All right, well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment anywhere down below or on Google Classroom or wherever you so choose. Other than that, hope you all are staying safe and enjoying your quarantine.